Last time on Venom, Spiderman, and Absolute Carnage. Carnage has been reaching out to anybody who has ever held a symbiote to take a codex out of their spine and try to create the ultimate symbiote, recreate the god of symbiotes Null. And when we last left off in Absolute Carnage number 3, Venom decided that Eddie Brock was too weak and jumped onto Hulk. He became Venom Hulk. But if you've been following along what's been happening over at Immortal Hulk, you'll know that inside of Bruce Banner are multiple personalities that he is currently arguing and fighting with as to who will have control. So what happens when those personalities get to meet the Venom symbiote? Well, we have a discussion about what is Venom Hulk. This is the Comicstorian channel where we play catch-up on your favorite comic books, movies, and video games, giving you the pop culture universe breakdown and lore in an audio drama format. And if you want to talk about your favorite comic books, please consider going to our Twitter at Comicstorian, where we can talk all day. But today, we are covering Absolute Carnage, Hulk. The room is black around him as Bruce Banner enters. He crosses the floor, placing a chair in the center of it, and he sits, adjusting his glasses on his face. You know, it's actually been a long time since I've had a conversation like this. I guess I should be thanking you for providing the venue. He introduces himself, telling the other that they have actually fought alongside one another before. After talking to your friend, I think that we could help each other. Maybe combine our strengths. Once the others get here, of course. Bruce leans forward, telling him, trust is kind of a big deal for us. So why don't we start by telling you how we got here? Weeks ago, Bruce stands in a hotel room. Once he has the personality and control, he never knows how he got here. In his hand is a crumpled note from Joe. The note telling him that the room is paid for and that his friends are in the next room over. And it says to not bother them since he is too needy. Gently, he knocks on the bathroom door asking for Betty. He opens it to find Betty in her harpy form, sitting on the tub. And inside the tub, Rick Jones lays in an almost zombie-like state. Yes, this is me. Rick Jones is in the bathtub, getting better. Maybe, she tells him, her voice both a growl and a sound of exasperation. Jackie can tell you more, she says, and she slams the door closed in Bruce's face. Jackie would fill Bruce in on the whole story. How Shadowbase turned Rick into the new abomination. How Hulk ripped Rick free and now he's in some sort of recuperation. But none of that matters to Bruce as he crosses the room, plopping down on the bed, and the TV clicks on with him flipping through the news, hoping that it will fill him in on some of the events. But the reporter tells him a different story. The images show a military cemetery that was desecrated while the anchor reports that red slime was left at the scene, and the body of Thunderbolt Ross is missing. Quickly, Bruce turns it off and leans over the edge of the bed. The body of a Gamma mutant was stolen and red slime was left at the scene. Bruce could only come to one conclusion. This was about me, he explains in his seat from the black room, and he turns at the sound of a new voice and Joe Fixit enters the room. Hey, so this is happening, huh? He asks, and Joe crosses the room, leaning over Bruce's shoulder, speaking to the other. You see this face? It ought to be gray and a hell of a lot uglier. Bad enough I'm a shrimp out there. I gotta look puny in here too? Bruce tries to interrupt him, and finally Joe leaves the room, offering to go find the others. But back in the hotel, Bruce is finishing up explaining what happened to her father to Betty. She barely responds, so Bruce explains that he feels that they should investigate. Can you find your father? By scent? He asks, and Betty turns, nodding. Yes. Alive or dead, I can find him. Bruce nods, a plan formulating in his head. They need to get out to West Point, so he asks her what her top flying speed is. Alone? 10 hours, she tells him. Carrying you? Longer. Too long. We'd be seen. Bruce looks at her quickly, his voice small in the bathroom. What if you folded me up small? He asks meekly. Betty doesn't respond, merely reaching out, taking Bruce's face in her hands, almost gently. He never remembers what happens when he dies. The next thing that he knows is that the Hulk is standing over a mass grave, and Betty is flying away in the moonlight. Betty was here? Hulk interrupts the story as he enters the black room. Betty is friend, or was friend. Hulk not know anymore, he mutters. But Hulk gets mad, angry that he only comes out to hurt people. He snarls at the other as Banner tries to calm him down. Whoa! Stupid Banner! Stupid Banner knows nothing! He snarls as he stomps off, and with a sigh, Banner turns back and continues his story. Banner explains that the mass grave was out of the way, and while someone might have found it, they didn't have that kind of time. So Hulk did something he's never done before. He called the news. From the woods, Hulk watches and listens as two detectives begin to go over the list of bodies in the grave, and as he realizes that the people in the mass grave all had symbiotes, he stalks gently back into the forest. Meanwhile, in the city, Spider-Man is swinging along, headed home as the sun comes up when suddenly a massive water tank flies by him. Hulk just wanted his attention. The wall crawler moves fast, grabbing the tank and webbing it up so that it can't hurt anyone. Swinging back down to the roof, the wall crawler is prepared to fight, but instead, he finds Bruce sitting there. A short time later, Peter gives Bruce some extra clothes that he stashed around the city, and Bruce quickly fills the hero in that they found a mass grave. But suddenly, he turns, a look of concern on his face. Tell me about Venom. Spider-Man explains that Venom is not the problem, it's his offspring, Carnage. He wishes to pull the Codex out of everyone who has ever bonded with a symbiote in order to raise the dark god Null. He's cosmic Satan, Peter explains. The one below all, Bruce explains. Once again in the Black Room, he believes that Null could possibly be some facet of the one below all, or some creature that it controls and works through. Like my father. Bruce looks up at the other again, which means this is definitely my problem, and I have to help. It ain't and you don't, Devil Hulk growls as he enters the Black Room. Getting involved with this is a mistake. Ross is back at his grave, that part's over. So we're done, he tells him, leaning over Bruce's face. Betty and Jones are waiting in California, where we need to be. We got work to do, remember? But Bruce just turns away from the Devil Hulk. I'm well aware, but that doesn't mean that we run off and let some space god end the world. He turns back with more determination in his voice. We're ending the world. Our way. Devil Hulk just grunts and stomps off with Bruce calling after him. It's too late to go back now. We're already involved. Back with Spider-Man, Bruce hooked up with Captain America and Wolverine, and they found Eddie's safe house. And Bruce managed to figure out the Maker's machine. And when Carnage and his spawns attacked, Venom lashed out, engulfing Bruce. It's been less than a second since then, Banner, Devil Hulk explains with the rest of the personalities behind him. It just seems like longer in here. That's all. We can still reject this thing, he explains, staring at the other, and Bruce shakes his head. I'm willing to accept him, to work with him, he tells the Devil Hulk. But Devil Hulk just turns and looks amazed. It don't work that way, gesturing to the other that Bruce has been talking to the whole time. Just look at it. The star-like face of Venom stares back at them, its eyes large, its toothy mouth open wide as its tongue slithers back and forth. The symbiote makes up the Black Room that they stand in now. It's an alien parasite. It infects people. It uses people. All it wants is our strength. So, Hulk is strongest one there is, Hulk explains. Ain't like we're gonna get out of this without a fight, Joe adds. New kid's got some moxie. Let's see what he could do. But Devil Hulk tries one more time, explaining that they are a system, and the symbiote isn't a part of it. It'll mess things up. It'll gum up the works. But Bruce smiles and shakes his head. 3-1 votes. You're with us now, Venom. Back in the safe house, as Spider-Man, Eddie Brock, and Carnage look on, Hulk roars to life, now bonded with Venom. Because we are Hulk! And that is the Hulk tie-in to Absolute Carnage. Now, I want to go over a couple of things. We've recently gone back to doing the Immortal Hulk storyline right here at the channel. And a couple of things that happen in here, while spoilerish, don't overall really reveal much of what happens in Immortal Hulk. So if you want to know how we got to this point in Immortal Hulk with Red Harpy, Rick Jones, with Devil Hulk talking to Savage Hulk and all these different kinds of things, well, all of that is going to be happening very soon right here on the channel. So if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get to know what exactly is going on with the Hulk outside of this Absolute Carnage event. As far as Absolute Carnage, if you are really enjoying the Absolute Carnage event, or you like the idea of Hulk having Venom, subscribe to the channel, because we're about to give you that actual issue of when Hulk and Venom ended up having to work together to do all of this. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. If you subscribe, you'll know what's going on. Hit that bell to get the notification, and I'll see you next time right here at Comicstorian.